So in the previous video, as part of the prep work for creating a RAD kit for the Prime React component library, I showed how we use ChatGPT along with the browser developer tool to generate this set of components. So I have them here in files, in JSON files, grouped roughly according to the categories that they belong to on the website. So these are all the components. The next step in the prep process is to also generate the props. That's basically the attributes that you can supply. You can use to supply argument to the component. If you go to the website for the components, you can take a look at this example here. And the props are listed under API. There's a bunch of them here. Of course, you could do this manually, but I've decided to see if we can get ChatGPT and the Solvent environment to help us with some automation. Um, I've written some prompt in here to help with this. The first prompt is basically the part that will extract the the props from an HTML page. Um, it instructs ChatGPT, gives it the format to look for. It provides a sample of the markup that it should look for in the page, and tells it what the output should look like and where to actually put it. Um, so I already run this prompt in here, and this is what it generated. Looks good. I haven't actually tested it yet, so we'll be testing it as part of this demo. The next set of prompts is this. The next prompt with a bunch of instructions. This basically says, generate a single page application that will accept the content of these files. Right? So if you look at one of these, it's a JSON array with the entries representing the components. So this prompt says, create an app that will accept this, and eventually I'm going to manually hook up the call to the JavaScript extractor that we have here, and and see if we can actually get the final result. The final result is going to be to have additional entries in here that represent the props. Once we have that, then we can basically use these files to generate components for the RAD kit, and that will follow up in a different video. So let's start this now. We have the HTML here. I already copied the app. Um, I told it to use local browser storage, which if we want to come back and retry some things, it'll be helpful. It should have a text area for input, a drop down for the things that we've previously inputted that have been saved to local browser storage so that we can recall them, and then a button that will invoke the the extractor or generator. Here it is. Here's the generator call. It will be called as a result of that button, and a text area that will display the result. It's instructed that the output from the extractor, which is this extracted set of objects, is JSON. And let's see. It doesn't actually return. Is it? Yeah, it does return. Okay. It modifies this array directly and returns it. So here, in this prompt, it is instructed that the output is JSON, so it should convert it. into text before displaying it. So all of that should be captured in here. Let's try to load this, to import this into the low code environment and see what happens with it. We're going to import the app. This one is a React Bootstrap application. That's part of the prompt that I provided. If you've seen a previous demo with the Lowcodr we use, Beautify this example, we're going to use React. Let's select that. It's going to parse this page and try to, determine what's actually in it. Okay, so it recognized the app, and we can ignore this. Yeah, so let's do the import. Okay, so we have our app imported. We're now going to try to load it, see if it loads successfully. There is a schema that backs the React Bootstrap RAD kit, a low code implementation, so that can take some time to load initially, but it has finished loading, so that's good. All right, so we have our page here. Here's input. We have no data yet, so it doesn't show anything. And here's the output, and it has a button. Let's just expand this outline here. We don't actually have the generated JSON, generated JavaScript in there. We're going to include it. There are a bunch of points here that allow you to inject code into this page, and the renderer would pick it up. So we're going to, we'll say before, we'll hook into this. Let's hook here. So before the app mount, we are going to inject this generator code in there. Okay. So that will make this object available for the code to use. So hit save. And it should reload the page or app. Okay. Just so we know what might be going on if something breaks, let's open up. I'm going to open up the developer console window, so if something goes wrong, I will know. All right, so we'll try to see if this actually works. Let's open up this file and paste it in there and hit the generate button. So I don't think, doesn't seem like it did anything from looking at this. Take a look at the events associated with it. All right, so the events seem to not be attached. It's interesting. We go back to the code that generated it. We can take a look and see what was done. All right, so it's on the. Now this is for the select the input area. I call handle input, and then for the button it says handle on click. We'll take a look at that button and see what objects are associated with it. So just open it down here. Okay, so we have under events, there's events, there's that. Okay, that looks good. Uh, my mistake. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Not, yeah. Go to the button. Okay, so there's our handler code. It calls a handler, but there is actually no code imported. It doesn't seem. See if this is attached anywhere. Right. This is here. Let me see what it does before JSX. Render should have all that code captured in there. It doesn't have it. I may have ignored it during the import. Let's delete this and try it again. See if I missed anything. All this is local. It should recognize those and just extract them appropriately. Yeah, here's a Here it is. Yeah, it did include them. All right, so all this stuff is here. Not sure. These are presets. Let's see, there's before just next render include. All right, so those are presets. I was looking at the wrong thing. Um, it should be calling this. So let's just try make sure we are doing the right thing here. Code gen. Interesting. Definitely wrong. No wonder I was having trouble there. I think in my prompt, it somehow went ahead and created its own stub implementation for this function, which I have already, or I'm going to include myself. All right. Yeah, so I see what happened there. We'll come back to ChatGPT, copy this again, and I didn't do anything before because ChatGPT went ahead when I told it to call this function and it didn't find any actual implementation. It created this stub, which doesn't do anything. So we want to inject our extractor in the right place. I'm gonna put it at a point just before the app is mounted. If I save that, all right. Now we'll go back to this. Paste this in here. I'm gonna take a look at the dev tool, which you can't see, but just do a hard refresh there. All right, it is complaining about something in the code. Let's see if we go to the extractor code that ChatGPT created for us in here. There's something it doesn't like. Trying to see if there's anything that's obviously wrong. All right, I see what is obviously wrong, which is we're calling this, we're not passing anything. I told ChatGPT to pass the text string, and it somehow missed that. Okay, so there's nothing being passed here, so there was an error about something being undefined. We look at basically we want this is the input text. When I did the import, it it's probably defaulting to using class-based component. If I look in the state object here, it did find the data elements. So let's do something here, just to stay close with its function. No, it's not using class-based components. I don't think. Okay, so let's double check that. So yeah, it's definitely not using class-based component because that would not work with all those hooks. Yeah, it's doing the right thing. All right, let's try this one more time. I'm gonna paste this in here. Just hide the low code toolbar. That's a new error. Is there anything in here that doesn't have a name attribute on it? That's what it's complaining about. There isn't saying this is well defined. Is this even valid JavaScript? Should be. I'm hoping. Let's see. Sure it is. It's not complaining about that one. Ah, yeah, more of my mistakes. Right, so this is fun. Right, save there. Do this again. Double check and make sure. All right, so some progress here. We failed for good reason because of course issues. Now let's go back to our beautiful assistants here and see if JavaScript match cross origin. The course related issues. I used to spend my days helping customers with these. They remind me of regex where I pretty much have to read up on it every time to remember what's what. We'll continue this once I find a fix for this. We're gonna move the code maybe to the back end.